In this video, we're going to be talking about your net worth and what your net worth should be depending on your age. And this is actually a very popular question that people have because they're trying to figure out how much money they should have or what their net worth should be depending on their age. So you may be thinking, if I'm 20 years old, how much money should I have saved up? What is a reasonable net worth to have at age 20 or in your 30s or 40s or 50s? And in this video, I'll be going over what your net worth should be by your age. So if this is something that you've always been interested in learning about and also interested in the numbers and seeing what other people in your age group and what their net worth is, then be sure to stick around to the end of this video, as that's what we'll be discussing in this video today. Now, just before we get into all that information, we will be kicking this video off with a $100 giveaway for lucky winners of $25, one winner each week. And all you have to do for a chance to win is to drop a comment below and then hop on over to my website, link down below in the description, and subscribe with your email address, because that's how we'll be announcing the winners every single week. Also, if you are new to this channel and this is the first time that you're seeing me, my name is Ian, and on this channel, I talk about ways to make money, ways to save money, ways to invest your money. Of course, I talk about bank accounts and credit cards and everything to do with personal finance. So if you like these videos and you like these kinds of topics, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I'll really appreciate it. And also subscribe to the channel with all notifications on. And that way you'll never miss the updates of when I post new videos, which is every single day on this channel. Now, I don't want you guys to get confused. So this video is about net worth and not how much money you should have saved up, because for instance, you could be 25 years old and you could have $100,000 saved up in the bank, but you could also have debts totaling $250,000. And so in that case, your net worth would be $100,000, because your net worth would be your assets minus your liabilities or your debts. So just to make that clear, this video isn't about how much money you should have saved at any particular age. This is about your net worth. Also, I want to point out before we get into all the numbers here that I'm not going to be using the average net worth of any particular age group, but instead I'm going to be using the median net worth. And the reason why I'm not using the average net worth is because the average is usually heavily influenced, or that number could be way off depending on just a few people who push the numbers to an extreme level. So for example, there could be 100 people in your age group working at your company, and 90 of these people have a net worth of, let's say, $100,000, and then 10 of these people have a net worth of 10 million. And so now if you look at the average net worth of all these people combined, it's going to give you a much higher number than what the majority of people in your age group working at this company actually have as their net worth. So the average is going to be those 100 people and all their net worths combined and then divided by the number of people. So that number is going to be off, and it isn't going to give you a true representation of what the net worth for most people in that age group working at that company. But the median is going to be that number somewhere in the middle, which is going to give you a much more accurate representation of what the actual net worth of people in that particular demographic is. So this is why I'll be using the median and not the average to look at the net worth by age in this video. So let's now start with the people in their 20s. And so if you're in your 20s, based on the latest information in 2021, the median net worth of someone in their 20s is around $9,468. And guys, I'm not making this stuff up. I never do. This is all public information. You can go and fact check this on the internet if you want to. If you look at the average net worth of people in their 20s, it's going to be around $93,000. So there's almost an $80,000 difference in net worth if you look at the average versus the median. And that is why I don't want to use the average in this video, because there are definitely going to be a few people in their 20s or whatever age group that are going to do exceptionally well financially, and they're going to have a significantly higher net worth than the rest of the population in that age group, and they're going to push the average number up by a lot. So if you're in your 20s, the median net worth is $9,468, and if you have around that amount of money, then you could consider yourself a normal 20-year-old. Now, if you're in your 20s and you don't have a net worth of $9,468 or thereabout, and you want to get yourself to that level, this is actually very easy. If you don't already have a job, then you should get one and start saving and investing. And all you really need to do to pull this off is to save $197 $7 every single week. And in 1 year or 12 months, you'll get to having that $9,468. Granted that you don't have any debts as well. Now, in your 20s, you should be concentrating on getting into your career, whether you're pursuing a college degree or you're pursuing some trade job or you're starting your own business. But you should be pursuing your career and trying to figure out what you'll be doing for the rest of your life to make money, and also clearing up any debts that you have. So any student loan debts or any other debts, and that way you can move most of your income towards building your wealth. Now let's move into your 30s. And if you're in your 30s, the median net worth for a 30-year-old is around $73,000. And the average net worth is much higher at around $340,000. And by your 30s, if you don't have a net worth of around $70,000, then you need to start working on it, right? So if you're in your 30s and you're starting from zero, let's say you have no debt or you just cleaned up your debt and you have $0 in savings, to get to $70,000 and have the median net worth would require you to save around $765 every single week for about 2 years just to get to $73,000. I know that $765 every single week is going to be around $3,000 every month in savings, and many people may not be able to realistically afford saving $3,000 every single month based on the average salaries, even if you have a college degree, because you're going to have living expenses such as a mortgage or rent and other expenses that you need to take care of. But luckily for you, you're in your 30s and you are an adult, and this is why you should be investing. And $765 sounds like a lot of money to save every single week for 2 years. But instead, you could do this the easier way, which is the way that I recommend a lot on this channel, which is simply to invest your money in a boring index fund or ETF at a commission-free brokerage. And we can run the numbers here so you can see what this looks like. So for example, you could take that $765 and put it in, let's say, your M1 Finance account, link down below in the description. You can also get $50 for free when you sign up for M1 using that link. And let's say you started this when you were 30 years old and you're gonna invest for 9 years and get to this median net worth by the time you're 39 or before. And you also get the average return of around 10 to 12% per year. And you contribute $100 to this investment account every single week. Now, this sounds like a much more realistic plan because you should be able to easily contribute $100 to your investment account every week, which is $400 every month. Now, if you do this for 9 years, you're gonna end up with $76,000 or over $76,000, and you would have only contributed around $43,000 over those 9 years, and your total interest and compounding would take you to around $32,000. So definitely don't try to save your way into getting to the net worth that you need to be at. You need to consider investing, and this can make it a lot easier when you put your money to work for you. So if you were ever wondering, this is what the median net worth is for you in your 30s. Now let's move to your 40s now, and the median net worth in your 40s is around $230,000, and the average is much higher, coming in at over $800,000. Now, if you're in your 40s, this would mean that you would have been working for around 15 to 20 years, even if you went to college, because you would have been out and working at the age of 24 to 25. So you have about 15 years of working. And so in these 15 years, you should have been able to build some wealth or increase your net worth. Now, if you were late and you had to do the previous step, which was starting from scratch at the age of 30 and investing $100 per week and only getting to $70,000 or a net worth of $70,000 at the age of 39, and you brought that over to the age of 40 or into your 40s, and we simply continued on that investment account, by the time you got to the age of 48, which is towards the end of your 40s, you would have around $287,000 in that investment account. And again, $200,000 from interest and compounding. And this is by simply starting at age 30 with that $765 and making an additional contribution of just $100 every week and having that investment account grow over 18 years. So again, you can definitely get to the median net worth for your age if you simply invest into something like a board index fund or ETF. And if you guys have a side gig, side hustle, or business, or some other type of investments, probably real estate, then you can hit this median net worth much easier and most likely get into the average of that age range, which is around $800,000. Now, when we move on into your 50s, the average net worth, or the median net worth rather, is around $420,000, and the average net worth is $1.3 million. And this is when it gets exciting, because If you simply continued on that very same investment account, and remember this is just an example, you have many different investments that you could make, but as an example, this simple investment account that you contribute $100 to every week is now going to be worth almost $1 million at around $980,000, which is much higher than the median net worth and is closer to the average net worth, which means that at this point in your life, you now have more money, or your net worth is much more than most of the other people in your age range. Now, in your 60s, and this is the final age group that I'll be covering because this is where you will most likely want to retire, and the median net worth for someone in their 60s is around $600,000, and the average net worth is $1.7 million. So if you retire at the age of 65 with a net worth of $600,000, then you can consider yourself being a normal 65-year-old, because that's what most people will have. If you have a higher net worth, close to, let's say, 1.6 million, or over, then you're definitely in the smaller minority of people that have that amount of money in their net worth. Again, this may sound like a lot of money or a lot to have as your net worth, because $600,000 is a lot, and even if you go up to the average, which is 1.7 million, that is a lot. However, if we continue investing with that same account that we started with in your 30s, by the time we got to the age of 65, you would have been investing for 35 years. If you started with $765 and made additional contributions of $400 to this investment account every single month, which is only $100 every single week, and you got into a boring index fund or ETF, at the age of 65, you would have around 2.2 million. And the good thing here is that the total that you contributed over these 35 years would only be $168,000, and you would have made over 2 million from compounding and returns on this investment. Now, this is why I talk about investing so much on this channel, and a lot of people don't like to hear it because it sounds boring when they invest and they don't see their investments skyrocketing and making them a ton of money in 2 to 3 months. But if you look at the long term, retiring at the age of 65 with a net worth of 2.2 million is really a lot, and you could live and never run out of money if you use the 4% rule, which simply means that you withdraw 4% of this investment every single year, and the investment continues to grow by 10 to 12% every single year. So you'll be able to pay taxes, and that investment will still continue to grow, and you'll never run out of money. So you spend 4% every year, but you get 12% every year. So the difference is still 8%, and 4% of 2.2 million is $88,000, almost $90,000. And remember guys, at the age of 65, you would have most likely paid off for your car. You would most likely have no student loan debts. You also have your house fully paid for. So you would have around $90,000 or almost a 6-figure income that you can now spend on vacations or anything you wanted to, because you wouldn't have all these high expenses that you had during your working years. So if you were ever wondering what the average is for your age group, that is what it is, and that is how you can get there. Now, if you have $0 saved up right now and you have a lot of debt and you want to start on this journey, I'll leave a link below to personalcapital.com where I got this information. So if you really want to get into the numbers, and you can also look at the average net worth by state and city, there's also a calculator on that web page where you can put in your assets and liabilities or debts, and you can get the results of what your net worth is right now. Now, I personally also have a spreadsheet that I use, so if you guys would like a copy, I can also send that to you for free. So with that said, I want you guys to now comment below and tell me if you are on track or if you have the median net worth for your age range. And also be sure to check the links down below in the description, especially that link to M1 Finance where you can get $50 for free when you sign up and create your investment account, and also that link to Chime where you can get $100 for free just for using that free checking and savings account. And with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was very helpful. Remember to give this video a thumbs up if you like the content, and subscribe with all notifications on, and I will see you guys tomorrow in the next one.